Okay, so what's up? And I'm back with Taurus moon and Sagittarius moon compatibility. And first off, let's just start by saying that these signs are quincunx each other in synastry. Quincunx. Now, I'm going to be doing a video speaking of quincunx signs. All right, I'm going to be doing that very soon. I thought I was going to be able to get a chance to do it today, but that's coming up very soon. All right. Um, and maybe I will still, but the point that I'm trying to make of quincunx signs is that, and they get a negative rap. I'm going to say that because they really don't have any innate understanding of the way that the other one works. So here, it would help if there was some other compatibility aspects showing up. Okay. So just keep that in mind. They don't really relate. They don't really see each other. Um, and they lack understanding of each other. Although it's interesting because this kind of gives off this opposites attract vibe because it's like like I don't who are you? I don't really know you, like especially with the moon signs. This emotional style is different. Like I wouldn't really handle my situations the way that you handle your situations. I really wouldn't get emotional about that the way you would get emotional about that. But you know what though? I feel like in a way you got a point. All right. So it's giving off this opposites attract vibe though, but with a twist. Because a lot of times with opposites attract could just be that, like, okay, well, we're opposites, we attract, but at the same time, are we willing to come together and override the parts about ourselves that are different? The opposites, they can see each other. Quincunx, it's not really about saying, can we just come together and iron out the things that are different about us. Like they have to get to each other to understand what it is about each other to figure out the similarities and differences. And also there is this sexual chemistry there. Quincunx signs, you can see them have kids together. You can also see them come together to work together. But at the same time, it's also those situations to where they can have kids or whatever. But at the same time, it could be like a breakup, a divorce, because they are like they have a deep attraction, and fascination to each other. But sometimes it's not enough to hold each other together, But some type of weird way, they can be dedicated to each other. Even if not in a relationship, they could be dedicated to each other. Or there's something that happens between them, like let's say having a child or some sort of business or something that puts them in a position to where they have to be dedicated to each other, even though if said child, whatever, didn't exist, they would have no reason to even stay in contact. They would have no reason to have this sort of dedication. But it's always, or there's usually something that could tie them together, So with Sagittarius and Taurus, it's the same thing. And this is the thing. Taurus moon really does like the way that Sagittarius moon can be very progressive, can move forward past things, right? That a Taurus will find itself stuck at. Taurus admires this in Sagittarius because sometimes Taurus gets stuck in a rut. Sometimes Taurus is very consistent and very stubborn, could even be stuck even when it doesn't want to, even when it really desires to come outside of a certain pattern, come outside of something traditional. Taurus could be very confined to tradition. Like whatever their parents taught them, they could be like, okay, well, this is how it has to be. Whatever they seen implemented towards them growing up, this is how it has to be. And, I'm going to start getting on this because, you see this with the earth signs. You have to be very, very careful the way that you raise earth signs. It's hard for them to come out of what they originally was taught and their original mindset and behavior. Now, Sagittarius, Taurus moon. Sagittarius finds Taurus moon's ability to be um steadfast, immovable at times, dedicated, loyal. Sagittarius moon finds that to be a breath of fresh air, because it's like Taurus moon can establish these roots for Sagittarius moon. You know, when Sagittarius moon wants to go off and do its thing, Taurus moon is pretty much going to be able to be consistent and going to be complacent and going to be fine, you know. And Sagittarius moon finds that refreshing because, you know, Sagittarius moon does not like to be restricted, does not like to be controlled, likes to go as a please. Taurus moon, up into an extent, will allow them to, because Taurus moon is kind of like, well, you know, I kind of like my alone time too a little bit, you know. But the and there's an attraction there. There's a very interesting emotional attraction between the two. Okay. The problem sets in when Taurus moon looks up and it's just like, okay, you know, like, I'm here, I'm chilling, I'm doing my own thing. But at the same time, it's like, where's Sagittarius moon? You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's things that we have to face. There's real life here, and it's like Sagittarius moon keeps deflecting. And you know, Sagittarius moon don't never really want to talk about the issues at hand. Sagittarius moon is always in avoidance. Sagittarius moon don't never want to take responsibility for what it is that they need to take responsibility for, even if Sagittarius moon is not seeing the same thing that Taurus is saying. Because remember, these signs don't have this natural affinity towards each other. You know, it's an attraction, but there's no understanding. However, they can teach each other things, because never get it twisted. Each one can see within the other one the strengths and downfalls. It's hard to avoid those strengths and downfalls, the strengths and weaknesses. But Taurus moon is going to really be like, you know, I just, you know, Sagittarius moon is very reactive. They are avoidant. You know, it's very hard to get them to settle down. And I feel like for Taurus moon does not trust the stability within that. You know. It could be, in Sagittarius moon could just be like, hey, Taurus moon, you're being stubborn for no reason. Sagittarius moon could be very unorthodox. Now, they don't have to be, but it just depends on what Sagittarius moon we get. And experience, or want to try new experiences, Taurus moon could be more traditional. And it's like, okay, well, there's certain things I'm going to try, but there's certain things I don't. It's not that, I don't want to try, like, it's not, like, I don't feel the need to try right now. Like, it's not my top priority, you know. And this is where they can find some sort of conflict of interest. All right. So the key here to their synastry is pretty much being willing to learn each other. Okay. Listen to each other's criticism about the other and have these conversations, talk about it. You know, it's just like, well, I'm not trying to necessarily criticize you, but at the same time, I kind of feel like, you know, every time I go to address something that I don't like in the situation, or I have a problem with, I feel like you are in avoidance. And I want to, you know, I want to make this work. Do you want to make this work? You know, and then, you know, vice versa. You just like, Taurus moon, I just need you to be a little bit more open and want to, you know, experience a little bit more. Just understand that I like my free time sometimes. And I, you know, that is a conversation that could be had. Whether it will work or not depends on other sign compatibilities. It really does. Because you're talking about a Taurus sun and an Aquarius sun. You know. Okay, so this has been Taurus and Sagittarius moon sign compatibility. I'm Butterfly to Light.